Hey everybody, today we'll be talking about The Babadook, written and directed by Jennifer Kent.
So in the spirit of Halloween, we've picked a bunch of horror movies that we already really like and we know are very good movies. So because of that, we don't want to do the same old system we've been using, and instead we're going to implement a spooky system that is purely about how scary they are. So it goes a little spooky, pretty spooky, and super spooky. And it's just about the scares because we already know the movies are of high quality.
You know, on the show we're hoping to bring in special guests, and we're
excited for this one.
We're very excited. And here's our special guest, Athena. She's been living with us.
Mm-hmm. She's also quarantined with us. It's okay.
Yes. Yeah. So Athena, what did you think about The Babadook?
Nice. Yeah, she's an actual black cat. So, in spirit of Halloween, we wanted to hear her opinion on these movies. Okay, so The Babadook is about a mother and son, and the husband had died the day the son was born. And so this kind of leads to this conflict between them and her ability to mother him. And so it gets really exacerbated when they discover a mysterious and very gruesome pop-up book in their house.
Yeah, I mean, this was, unfortunately I missed this movie when it came out, but I mean, I was really impressed. You know, it's really interesting to see what kind of fear do these movies tap into.
Mm-hmm. Like all good horror movies is it attaches the horror elements to real life fears and dread, and because she has this difficulty as a mother and struggles to love her child essentially. This is a really interesting social critique that you can sometimes enjoy in a horror movie, that they're able to leverage these certain point of views, like we've seen Get Out recently. I think it's a mark of a really good horror movie when the horror actually relates to the key thematic elements.
This being the first time watching it, I was wondering, how much they were going to lean on a physical manifestation of the monsters that she's fighting, and I think, while I did hope that they might not use a physical manifestation at all, because just given the subject matter, of course you do need a little bit of that, and I think they toe that line really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really interesting about the Babadook too is that it's able to take a new scare, that we haven't really seen before, where it has this pop-up book, and it's the contrast of how childlike a pop-up book is, and how happy and G-rated they are, and it creates a really scary, foreboding version of it. The book lays out pretty clearly what you're gonna hear and what signs of the Babadook are, and that makes it a very interesting watch, because there's this tension because you're expecting certain things. And I think overall, as a horror movie alone, it's really well done.
Given what the Babadook, is clearly meant to represent, I found the son's character really interesting because he was able, he recognizes the monster and recognizes its realness and accepts it before the mother does. With the context of mental health that they're dealing with here, I found the son's character to be really interesting and recognizing his mother's struggles and the mother kind of, trying to keep it in the basement.
Mm-hmm. Also noteworthy is that the movie was made for only $2 million, which is pretty unheard of. We have seen a lot of very low budget horror movies that do really well, and it's because the Babadook is they're more clever and they're more in depth into their social elements, than big mainstream horrors are. So with the second viewing, some of the scares don't hold up as well, but the overall foreboding elements and the atmosphere, I think, still carry it to be a really strong horror movie. So I will give that a super spooky.
Yeah, I first time watching it for me, obviously a lot of the scares hit. You saw that. For me, when a horror movie is done at the highest level, I think it's not about, the monsters on the screen, but it's really about the monsters that us as the audience have to deal with every day. And I think this movie taps into that in a really creative way, and it has tackled a problem that has not really been dealt with that much in the horror genre. So I'll also give it a super spooky.
Super spooky, guys. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on Instagram.
And tell us in the comments that we're wrong and that we're babies for thinking it's super spooky.
Tell us how it didn't scare you at all.
Thanks.